This is Craig Strode, sports coach, and assignment 2 for submission. First coach I'm going to do is Brendan Rodgers. The roles of the coach, he needs to be a good role model, because obviously at this high end of the sport, if he acts inappropriately, the team are going to likely to copy him, meaning they're going to be in the media for the wrong reasons, meaning that it's going to look bad on him as head coach. He needs to be an educator, because at this level of the game, you have to teach your players new tactics and new drills, because a simple set piece can be the difference between winning and losing a game. He's been innovative, like I just said. Needs to think of new formations and surprise the opponents, because a simple set piece or formation can mean the difference between winning and losing. You need to be a friend. You need to be a friend because you need to be comfortable around your team, meaning that if they've got any problems, they can come to talk to you about it and not feel uncomfortable around you. Being a friend is not as important as a role model, because obviously at this level the players are going to have their own people they can go and talk to, such as life coaches. Um, um, and being a role model, if you're acting inappropriately, so with the team, meaning that they're not going to get the best performance that they can be getting if they're acting like they should be. Responsibilities, knowledge of the coaching environment. You need to know the coaching environment, because if you don't know where the facilities or equipment are, training is going to be a lot harder for you. You also need to know the climate you're training in, such as when your team's on tour. Say if it's hot, you're going to need to prepare your team, keep them hydrated, and if it's cold, you need to wrap them up warm. Health and safety. Although someone in your team or like that's employed will do risk assessments for you, it's still your job to make sure the players are injury free and safe at all times, because if you've got an injured player, he obviously can't play the next few games. That's going to be a big loss for your squad. If a coach Professional conduct. If a coach turns up training, swearing and acting inappropriately, players may feel that you do not care for the team, so they may not turn up to some training sessions and they will not improve as a unit. Equal opportunities. It's important to let reserves play with the first team in case they fit in well better than a first team player. If you don't give equal opportunities a chance, then you could miss some potential talent for the future of the team. Um, Equal opportunities isn't as important as knowledge of the coaching environment, because scouts will see new talent for you and let you know. And knowledge of the coaching environment is obviously very important, because you need to know what the climate's going to be like and what you can do to warn your players and how they can prepare for like heat. Like you need to know where the equipment and stuff is. Skills, communication, I've got at the top, because you could have the best ideas in the world. If you can't communicate them with your players, then you might as well have no ideas at all, because they're not going to understand you. Analysis, you need to tell the players how they can improve at half time. Say if they're having a bad first half. An example of this will be Liverpool versus AC Milan in 2005. Rafa Benitez obviously told the team what they were doing wrong, because they were 3-0 down at half time. They came out, drawing it back to 3-0, and they won on penalties. Time management, you need to arrive to training early to compose yourselves, and like go through what you're doing. If you turn up late to training sessions and matches, players will feel that it's acceptable for them to turn up late, meaning that it's going to be hard to improve as a unit, because the players will just be turning up everywhere. Team management isn't as important as time management, even isn't as important as communication, because time management, yeah, you still have to get to the training session early, but you're going to have someone there to set up for you, so you don't have to get that as early. Communication is obviously very important, because you need to get your point across if you've got a good idea. Next coach I'm doing is a youth coach. You need to be a role model for the team, because obviously the players are young, so they're likely to copy the manager's action. So if you're acting poorly, they're going to act poorly. You need to be an educator, because the players are obviously young, they don't have a wide knowledge of the game, so you need to teach them on tactics and drills. You need to be a friend and approachable, in case the children need to come see you with any problems, such as home troubles or they're being bullied in the team. You need to be a good trainer to keep the team fit, so they don't fatigue early, and think of good training sessions that are appropriate for their age. Responsibilities, health and safety is obviously very important for children this young. You need to do regular risk assessments at training and at matches. Legal obligations, you need to make sure the players are safe at all times. You need to teach them about illegal substances such as drugs, and you also need to make sure you've got the correct insurance to be a coach for your team. Equal opportunities is important. You need to make sure that every player plays the same amount of time in the matches. You're playing for fun, so it doesn't really matter about results. So get players involved. Otherwise, they feel disheartened and they could leave the team, and they will also feel they're not good enough, which could put them off of sport for some time. Professional conduct. Obviously, like I said, the players are young, so if you turn up to train in a match swearing and acting poorly, they're going to copy you, which will give your team a poor reputation. Health and safety and legal obligations, obviously, utmost importance on here, because yeah, equal opportunities are still important, but it's not as important because yeah, they'll feel disheartened, but at least they'll be safe and out of danger. Whereas if you don't follow health and safety and legal obligations, you could get into serious trouble and the players could get seriously hurt. Skills, communication at the top. Obviously, if you've got a good idea, again, you can't get it across. It's pointless having your idea. Analysis. If your team is playing bad in the first half, or you've had a bad game in the previous week, you need to tell them what they've done wrong, how they can improve, and yeah, just tell them how they can improve on the future. Time management is obviously important at this level of the game, because you need to get to training early, set up early before the players arrive, and compose yourself for the training session. Next coach I'm doing is Roy Hodgson. Roles, you need to be an educator, because the team usually play against each other for their individual teams, say in the Barclays Premier League. So he needs to teach them how they can perform as a unit and play well together. He needs to be an innovator, because at this level of the game, you've got the whole country watching you, so you need to think of new and exciting tactics from set pieces, because a simple tactic from a set piece can mean a difference between winning and losing a game. You need to be a role model, because obviously, like I said, the whole country's watching you. So if you're acting inappropriately, the players will copy you, and that's going to look really bad on you in front of your fans and your country. There needs to be a friend, because players need to feel comfortable around you. If they've got any problems, they can come and talk to you. Obviously, friend is not as important as educator, because at this level of the game, they're going to have life coaches they can go and talk to sort their problems out. And educator is obviously very important, because you need to educate them on how they can play together and perform well as a team. Responsibilities. I've got knowledge of the coaching environment. If I use a World Cup as an example here, obviously World Cup's different in every country, so you need to know the climate and the culture of each country. Health and safety, obviously you're going to have someone to do risk assessments for you, but it's still your job to make sure the players are safe, because if you've got an injured player, they can't play, it's going to be a big loss for your squad. Professional conduct, you need to act professional, because obviously the whole country is watching you. If you turn up swearing and acting inappropriately, the players will feel you don't care, so they may not turn up to some training sessions, which is going to be bad for the team, because they won't be able to train together. Equal opportunities, obviously it's everyone's dream to play for England, well, to play for their country. So you need to give younger players a chance to prove that they're good enough. And if I go back to that one, equal opportunities isn't as important as knowledge of the coaching environment, because obviously the whole country is watching you in the World Cup, so they're going to expect results. So you're going to need to put the best team out for as many games as you can, and knowledge of the coaching environment is obviously top, because you need to know the climate and the conditions of each country. Skills, communication got at the top, because like I keep saying, if you've got a really good idea and you can't tell the team that, you're going to struggle, because they're not going to understand you. Analysing, yet again, if your team's having a bad first half, you need to tell them what they're doing wrong, how they can improve for the second half. Problem solving, you need to be a good problem solver, because say if you've got a striker that's playing well and they get injured halfway through the game, you're going to need to know what you can do to take them, like you also need to take them off, so you're going to need to know who you can put on. You may even have to change the formations around so that the team perform better without that player. Problem solving is not as important as communication, because you can have assistant coaches to help you with the problem solving and communication. You're going to need good communication skills to let your team know your ideas. Next coach I've got is David Hayes coach. Got roles. Obviously you need to be a trainer, because boxing is a lot about fitness, so you need to keep your fighter nice and fighting fit so they don't fatigue quickly in the early rounds. You need to be a manager to make sure that your fighter is behaving well inside and outside of the ring. because if they're behaving badly, it's going to look bad on you as a coach. You need to be a good friend. You have to be there for them, because obviously you've only got one fighter to train, so they're going to come to you if they've got any problems. You need to be an innovator, because as a coach you need to think of new ways of training your fighter, because if your fighter's training over and over again using the same techniques, they're going to become predictable for other fighters, meaning they're going to lose fights. Being a trainer is not as important as being a friend. No, being a friend is not as important as being a trainer, because they're going to have life coaches to go to, and being a trainer is very important because you need to keep your fighter fit, so that they don't fatigue quickly, obviously. Responsibilities, obviously no boxing venue is the same, so you need to know the environment so that you can train before the fight. You're also going to need to know where facilities are, where equipment is, so it's going to flow a lot easier. Health and safety, you need to make sure your boxer is safe and injury free, because if you send him into the ring and he's got a slight injury or not 100% fighting fit, not only will they could lose the fight, but it could injure them even more. Professional conduct, obviously because you and the fighter have got a good relationship, you need to stay professional, because obviously you're close together, you need to stay professional, and not acting inappropriately, because otherwise the fighter will copy you, meaning that they'll be in the media for the wrong reasons. An example of this could be David Haye. He acts badly outside of the ring, calling some other boxers idiots, which is going to look bad on him and his coach. Equal opportunities, this really doesn't apply in boxing, because obviously you've only got one fighter to train, so it's not very important at all. I've got knowledge in the coaching environment top, and health and safety top, because you need to keep your fighter safe and healthy, and you need to know your environment to be able to train well. And obviously equal opportunities don't apply here in boxing, because you've only got one boxer. Communication, you need to have good on skills communication, you need to have good communication to show your boxer your ideas so that he understands. You need to have good organisation, because obviously there's a lot of different training methods you can use, so you need to know when to train what certain parts of the body and how to train it. And obviously you've got lots of fights records to keep hold of, so that you know like upcoming fights and how to improve. Analysis, if you're a fighter's had a poor fight, you need to know how to improve on that for their next fight, such as you could record them and they could watch the video back themselves. Communication is obviously more important than organisation and analysis, because if you've got really good ideas and you can't communicate that with the boxer, he's not going to know your ideas, so your idea is going to be pointless. So yeah, you need to have really good communication skills. The coaching techniques I've picked are goal setting. You need to set goals, because it gives your team or individual something to aim for. If you didn't have a goal, you wouldn't know what to aim for, meaning they're not going to try as hard. So if you set a goal for maybe say to, I don't know, lift more weights within a certain time span, they're going to train harder, so they try and beat that goal. You need to design effective practice sessions, because you need the best training sessions as possible to improve the fitness of the team or individual that you're training. If you don't design a session plan beforehand, you'll have to make it up as you go along, meaning the session will not flow as easily and will not be as good or effective. And performance profiling, you need to know how the team or individual can improve and what they need to work on. It's easy with a performance profiling, it's easier to see what they're weak at and what they're good at, so you know what to train the upcoming weeks. And that is it.